I mean the system design, right? It's not design system, the system design.
Yeah.
So you
What was the
see
last thing
the
you said?
hmm,
When you mentioned about um when you started talking about me saying that when you're coding or writing code, you need to understand
Yeah. So it's
the
basically
whole
system design.
yeah.
Yeah. So these are some design we're um, working on last week using Kimo. So it's the same system we've been doing, but we just updated it small.
Hmm.
You see, when going to cash in our original system, it was three: the sorter, the collector, and the recycling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these days, one additional person between the recycling and the collector.
oh, this person. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we added the colors so
Mm-hmm.
that blue is people or companies,
Mm-hmm.
green is a process,
Mm-hmm.
yellow is a resource, and then orange is an agreement or an exchange. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we would
With a
create, a
contract.
smart contract. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, basically it starts with trash at the households, which they
Mm-hmm.
sort to create sorted trash. Then the collectors come to pick it up, and there's an exchange agreement
Mm-hmm.
here. And so they do the process of collecting to produce collected trash, and then that trash gets delivered to the material converters, or a small number of them convert it themselves
Mm-hmm.
to produce sacks of recycling material, and then that material is delivered to the recycling companies who recycle it and produce products made out of recycled materials, which goes to the general public, which closes the loop when it
Mm-hmm.
goes back to the household.
Stress again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably there's also like um, I don't know, like not trash or something. Like it's not all, it doesn't all
Yeah.
go into trash. Um, but I'll just leave it for now. And by mapping all of that out in that way, we could draw some interesting connection points with bin to cash, um, where we realized that bin to cash would kind of be the information from these contracts would be sent to bin to cash for them to then manage the fund distribution to the different stakeholders, the different people in the system.
Okay.
And
I want to ask if for the fund distribution, can we let the contract do that as well?
yeah, yeah, it would all be automated.
Okay.
Yeah. Abdul Rahman, anything to add here?
Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, and we were trying to work out where where the money could come from to finance the fund. And so if you can see here, there's one arrow, this one, which goes from the recycling companies into the fund, and the rest of the arrows go from the fund to the different participants. So we were thinking the recycling company is one possible stakeholder that could finance the fund. But then Abdul Rahman, I mean, we were also talking about how we were trying to understand with conditions or what incentives they would pay for the fund. And we touched on that if the recycling material was higher quality, then they would basically be paying for higher quality recycling materials. So if through this system, by incentivizing the households to do really good sorting of trash, it can result in higher quality recycling material, then that's maybe something that they would pay for. But then we were also trying to explore what other options there are, so governments and NGOs. And that's where we got up to.
Okay. Mm,
Any questions?
No.
Okay. Any further points from Abdul Rahman?
We've touched on almost everything for now, and I
Yeah.
think she has a fair idea already before, so she can easily grasp from here.
Okay. And just for the sake of the recording, because the last recording didn't work, we were using this schema for an agreement which came from this project called Value Flows. And I want to try and find that same example again. I think it was here. No. But this is a really good resource for basically like trying to articulate how a system fits together. Like this kind of thing. Ah, yeah, it's here. So this is what we're doing. This resource gets input to a process, produces another resource. Oh, I forgot to share screen, sorry. Resource, input into a process, output to another resource. So if you remember um, the video that Abdurrahman sent in, where it's inside the processing plant where they convert the material, it's basically that's a process. So it would be like that we're trying to make visible here. The trash goes in, is being converted into recycling material. And then recycling material produces the sacks. So that's what we've mapped out here already. And then this library here, this framework, is a way for us to create little agreements that can overall make visible the flows in the system. And we were starting with an exchange agreement, and what we did was we we decided that because the Abdul Rahman, do you want to say why we decided on the second agreement instead of the first? Do you remember?
Go back to the first one. Let me see.
This is the first one. It just goes Apple's agreement agreement made to produce 10 liters of cider in the future. And the second one said this one, the agreement just basically indicates that there was a transfer of $5. Yeah. Do you remember what the difference was?
No.
So I think, if I remember correctly, because we were saying for this exchange here, I remember now, we were focusing on this first exchange, and we were saying that the collector needs to pay the household at the time of the exchange. So it's not like something will happen in the future, it happens there and then. And the difference that we understood between these two agreements is the first one is like it's like a promise of something that will happen in the future, whereas the second one is like there's no commitments. It's nothing happening ahead of time, it's happening there and then. So I think that's why we decided it's more suitable for this exchange here. So what we did was we took this schema and we sent it to ChatGPT. Yeah.
Wait, I want to find out if this is the docs for creating the smart contracts.
Not quite. No.
What is this exactly?
What's this one? This page?
Yeah.
It's a really cool project that I know of. I'll send it in the chat now. That I know of because Holochain, which is a progressive crypto project. I'll try and put that in the chat as well. Yeah. They refer to this value flows framework to specify how they think about contracts. So I regard Holochain very highly, and because they use this, that's why I came to use this as well. And what we did was we took this template of a contract for this type of exchange, and then we took the Hello World example from Icon. We went down here, we took this, and we sent them both to ChatGPT. We gave it the context. We said, this is a smart contract example. This is a exchange agreement for the type of exchange that we want. Now, produce a smart contract for this type of exchange. And that's where we got to. So we can carry on from there. I asked Abdul Rahman if he could research a little deeper into I can. So if there's something that I think would make sense to share about it, then um, that would be great. If there's like, if you found anything that you think would be helpful, then we could start there. But I think also let's hear any questions from Sila.
Okay. Mm. Okay, so my first question is in the smart contract for Cardano, right? What language does it use?
Um, Different languages. You can use different languages to implement it. So there's a Python library, there's a JavaScript library.
Okay. Mm, that's okay. I have other questions, but then I'm not thinking of how to ask them in the right way. So I think I'll ask that later. Yeah.
Okay,
Sila,
okay.
what's the first question you asked again?
I asked what language the smart contract is written in, and Tabs was saying that there are different libraries, right? So if the library is written in Python, right, then that means you're going to write a contract in Python, right? Or you're going to use Python. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Catch you. Taps, are you here?
Yes. So, is there anything you want to share from the bit of research you did, Abdul Rahman?
Mm, well, I did some research on smart contracts, and then I don't know if I should go on that or I should go straight to the assignment.
Um, Start wherever you like.
Okay. Uh, and let's so let me start with smart contract.
Okay.
Uh, it's basically an agreement between two people or stakeholders um, that it's being run automatically, and it uses a system that if the agreements are matched or if everything or the process is true, then it goes through, the transaction goes through, and if it is false, then everything has to revert. Everything it cancels. Everything cancels and has to revert. And also, yeah, it's like an if else statement. If the agreement is right, then the smart contract goes through. If the agreement is not right, in terms of being to cash like this, let me use the collector and then the sorter as an example. If the sorter brings in 50 kilograms or 20 kilograms of trash, and then the collector comes and then verify if everything is correct through the system, like taking pictures and then verifying the location of the identity of the sorter and everything, and any other agreement we can place in. If everything is correct, then it means it's true. He has given out the 20 kilograms of weight. So the system automatically then pays, verifies that, and then pays whoever is bringing in the sorter, is paying the sorter for sorting the waste. Same to the from the sorter to the material man or the recycling company. The same here. So this one eliminates the middleman, like a central bank or something. You don't have to do anything uh, manually. It's being run automatically. And then with assignment, we talked about, let me read assignment. The type of contract that is needed.
Mm, yeah.
So mint, spend, withdrawal, publish, vote, or propose. So with a little research I did, I think we will need spend here, spend, and then mint if we are going to be dealing with NFTs. If you're going to be dealing with NFTs, then we may need mint and also spend.
Wait, say it again, please.
Um, the type of contract that's going to be needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with our system, I think we will need mint and spend.
Okay.
Yeah, mint and spend. So
Cool.
yeah,
Wait.
Okay, I would want to know what a mint is for. What are we minting?
that's when if the mint comes in, if we will be needing NFTs. If you are going to use NFTs in our system,
Yeah. So what's the
yeah,
NFT? What's the NFT for? Like, what's the NFT related to?
the sacks of trash that is being sorted.
Okay. Usually NFTs
I think
are
the reward.
things you own.
uh, Yeah. Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, they are things you own to prove something, right?
Yeah.
So what is it proving? Like, who is owning the NFT? Who is going to be given the NFT and why?
If the if the reward is going to be in an NFT, I okay during the proposal time. Okay, I think you're there. We talked about NFTs in a proposal. So if the reward is going to be in an NFT, uh, as in fungible tokens, then we will need mint here. And we
Mm,
can, if there was also going to be in either, that's when a spend contract will be needed.
okay. So I wanted to be sure, like the NFT, for instance, right? If let's say you're rewarding the householder or anybody part of the recycling chain, an NFT, what like I want the NFT to be like tangible, something they would love. What do you think the NFT would be for? What kind of NFT? Is it just to show that they are just to show that they have been a contributor to um the ecosystem in terms of ensuring that waste is managed, so that they have that kind of recognition, like just a recognition, like how awards are given, right? Is that how it's going to be like?
Yes, something like that. For instance,
Okay.
if you sold, let's say, um, 50 kilograms of wheat, and then in a process we mint it as an NFT, and at the end of the day, this 50 kilograms is being used to create a recycling material. I think we will need the information till the recycling. company, right? After the materials are being used to create are recycled, after the sorted waste are recycled, it will be nice if a person can see what his sorted waste has been able to was used for. Is it
Okay, so can they? So for the NFT, is it like would they have both? Because I feel like um the NFT can just stand in for you owning something, right? It just shows ownership of. It can be for ownership of something. So maybe maybe the person has been rewarded some ah uh, I'm thinking some what can they have tangibly? Maybe a household has been rewarded some beans. I don't know.
like
But then there's
physical
an
being?
NFT to prove that okay, they own this. But usually, yeah, NFT is just to prove that you own something. Or if you've been rewarded something, it's just like a certificate. It's like let's say if you complete a course and get a certificate. But it can also represent something physical that you own. So I'm asking if maybe the household that owns beans, right? Or
Okay.
um, the tricycle that um the collector can will be using to collect the waste.
Yeah,
Will be using to collect the waste, right?
I didn't get
Householders
you.
can own.
Come again, please.
I'm saying the tricycle that um the collectors will use to do this thing.
Sila, your network is on and off. I can't hear you clearly. Taps, can you hear her? Taps, can you hear her, please?
No, it dropped off.
Uh,
Yeah, let's wait for a sec. But that was a really
okay,
good discussion.
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I was saying that for the NFT, right? Maybe there's an opportunity for the householder to own something like a recycling bin, right? Which is used to work, or maybe they own a tricycle. But then there's an NFT on a blockchain to prove that this tricycle is owned by the this particular household, right? And though they are not the one using the tricycle, it's more like they get rewarded or get like payment or rent money from the tricycle. So collectors are using this tricycle, but then the householder can actually get money from the usage of their tricycle. More like it has been rented to the collector or whoever is working with it, and whatever earnings that come from like the recycling in terms of using that asset. Because a tricycle for working or for doing the recycling business is actually an asset, right? It's an asset. So it brings returns. So that returns will go to the householder who owns it. And then they have an NFT to prove that okay, this particular tricycle belongs to you. And they still get ADA from it, from the usage of this tricycle. So there's an NFT proving that you own it, and then there's ADA for from rent money. I don't know if it's clear. It's just an
It's not.
example use case I'm trying to bring up.
It's not clear. Are you speaking in terms of the tricycling being owned by being to cash or being owned by the collector?
Um, Talking in terms of the tricycle being owned by the householder, for instance. For an
The
example,
house.
it can be owned by any other person, right? But then here's a case where a householder wants to maybe it's just an extension of what is possible. If the householder wants to invest, because it's also part of funding. So maybe some of the householders who are really into this want to invest. Maybe they have money to invest into tricycles or anything that will make the recycling process smooth, right? And they have the opportunity to have an NFT to prove that they own these particular tricycles. And then they can also get, because it's like they own it, but then they're not really using it. It's the company that is using it or the collective using it. They get rewarded in terms of rent money. So like you've rented a place out. I have a car and I rent it out to somebody and they are using it for their business. I get paid for they using that car. So for example, the tricycle is being rented out to be used in the recycling process. The householder is not the one using it, but because it's for them or they own it, they are paid rent.
So how does the NFT link to the
So the
tricycles?
NFT will be a proof. It's an NFT of the tricycles to prove that
Oh, okay.
okay,
So
you own it. That's one
uh,
example use case I'm thinking about. There can be other possible use cases for different things, and this is just one example I'm just giving.
okay. I get where you're coming from, but I was thinking the NFT is going to be related to the trash instead because um, the trash is what we are focusing on. So the sorted trash would be the NFTs, and
Yes,
it
but
would
then
change.
I'm skeptical a bit because NFTs are a representation of something valuable that you own, right? So yes, if the trash has value, well, it will make
Yes,
sense that way that
yes,
there's an NFT for it. But then it's usually for things that I know that okay, this thing holds value and I have a certificate to prove that I own this particular valuable thing.
Taps, do you get it here?
I was not. I was learning about Icon still. I wasn't following along. What's the
Okay,
question? You're trying. I understand you're trying to use an example use case. Um,
yes.
you're trying to use an example use case for an NFT, and Scylla was raising a question that the NFT needs to be represent something valuable for them to hold it. Are you just trying
Yes.
to work out like what would be the use case?
Yeah, so Sila used the tricycle as a use case for the NFTs.
Yeah.
So that was what I was not really getting. I was asking if you get it from there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can see a use case there for sure.
Okay, can you elaborate small?
Um, like if there's some way to link the ownership of the tricycle with an NFT, then you can use the NFT to verify who the owner is. Is that what you were thinking, Sila? I think her signal.
Sila,
Yes, I'm here.
did you hear what Tap said?
Okay, I got cut off where he said if you can use the if we can link the NFT to the tricycle, then probably we can use the NFT to verify who the owner is.
Yeah.
And well,
Is that what you were thinking?
yes, to verify who the owner is. So they have a certificate to prove. So mine was to prove ownership of the tricycle, and then they get paid rent money. So because it's for them and it's being used to work, they get paid in maybe ADA for rent money.
Wow. Okay. How would you map that in the system?
Okay, so that will look like so we're looking for funds, right? We're looking for money to let's say in the form of capital, right? To get certain assets that we need to make this business possible and running.
Yeah,
So an example of it is giving the householders who are really appreciating the initiative, right, to contribute to aside what they get, aside what they get in terms of their trash being collected, which is probably going to be not going to be so much money, but it's at least something that could do one or two things for them. Some of them might want an investment opportunity where they have money and they want to invest in this initiative. So that will be a form of funding or a form of capital contribution for us, where we can use such monies to maybe purchase some of the assets we need. So an example would be if we need tricycles. There's an opportunity for a householder to invest maybe in one, two, or three. So whichever um, number of tricycles they want to give money for them to be bought, right? It's for them. But we as the business is using it for activities. So they have NFTs to prove the ownership of the tricycles we are using. Not everything, but I mean what they have contributed. So let's say the householder bought two tricycles or gave money that is worth buying two tricycles. We have purchased those tricycles and they have an NFT to prove that. Okay, you own this tricycle. And then when there's returns on business activities based on some percentages and calculations, we know that okay, each householder who has a tricycle with us with an NFT to prove it has maybe 10 ADA per tricycle going to their account every month.
the rent.
Yes. And it would be a form of funding. NFT can also um, be in the contract to help with the payment disbursements, right? If there's a contract written for that, right? And then, yes, it goes to them as returns, part of the returns we are getting. Yeah. I don't know where that will fall in terms of the system. But the initial one will contribute to the fund.
I think it's a really awesome use case. The app isn't letting me add it for now, but I really like it. I really like it a lot. Let's remember.
Um. Okay. I'm trying to connect the dots here. NFT is um a tangible token, right? Non-tangible token, right?
It's non
It,
fungible. It means you can't
yes.
exchange it for something.
You can't exchange.
Yes, you can't exchange it. So the fungible tokens are tokens like, let's say if it's like from other cryptocurrencies where I can exchange it for something. I can exchange that money for another currency. So let's say if I have USDC, maybe I can exchange USDC um for Bitcoin, BTC, right? They are fungible. You can exchange them. I can exchange them for fiat. Fiat is actual money. So let's say I have USDC. I can exchange it for um 13 Ghana cedis, right? 13 cedis.
Okay.
So if I'm able to exchange that for physical like cash in my hands, it means it's fungible. But then NFTs are non-exchangeable. That's why it's called non-fungible.
Really, I thought NFTs can NFT can be exchanged, isn't it?
No, it's just a representation of what you own in a way. It's just digital certificate. So it's proofs. It can be used. It has different use cases, but one that I'm going to hint on is to prove ownership of something. So let's say if I have a land, right, a physical land, which is like tangible, a land, and I have a
Okay.
certificate of the land, right. The land is in my name.
Okay.
I can have an NFT for that, so that it will be on a blockchain that proves that I own this land.
Yeah, and you can exchange it for cash.
No, you can't exchange the NFT, but you can, of course, sell the land. You see? So when you sell the land, that means that the next person who's going to own the land cannot have, I'm sure, cannot have that NFT. There should be a different NFT. Maybe that NFT will be annulled or something. I don't know, the current one. And then there should be a different NFT for the new owner of the land. So
Okay.
if the NFT is for me and it's not for a physical thing, let's say something digital, right? I can actually exchange the NFT itself.
Okay. If the land is yours, come again. The
The
last
land
part
is
you
not the
said.
NFT. The NFT
Yeah, I
just
understand.
proves
Yeah,
that you own the land. So you can exchange the land.
yeah.
I can, if I have physical cash, I can exchange the cash. But then if I have an NFT of that cash, I can't exchange the NFT.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you see the way I can sell. You can actually sell BTC, right? You can sell BTC.
Mhm.
You can't sell an
Yeah.
NFT. That is why they call it non-fungible tokens. You can't sell it. It can just go to waste. It can just be useless, but you can't actually sell it.
Uh, maybe I'm getting it wrongly also. Because I was thinking, you see the sorted trash, the sorted trash. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was thinking the sorted trash could also be used as an NFT.
Yeah, so yeah, so that's why we have to think deeply into it and see how that works. Because the trash are usually um they're usually they're usually going to be recycled. It's not going to be staying there or certain. Like for instance, having an NFT of a land makes sense because I'm going to have the land there like for a long time. Like the land is just there unless I sell it, right?
Okay, okay,
But
yeah,
then for the trash, it's not like that. It's actually even if the trash is an asset in this regard, it becomes a non-current and sorry, a current asset means it doesn't stay as an asset for long. It's just like how inventories are in a company where basically I have an inventory or a stock of shoes I'm selling. Yeah, assets. I own them, right? I but then
yeah.
I sell them frequently. But then another asset like my store will be something that I don't sell because that's what I'm using to um house or store my products. So my store is an asset, but that asset is not exchanged. But then for my goods, that's my shoes that I'm selling. It's constantly being exchanged, so it doesn't stay. It's non. Sorry, it's a current asset. It can be liquidified into cash easily. Uh-huh. I don't know. Sorry about the business terms I'm using. Just my
Mhm.
accounting background coming in. Sorry.
Yeah, but in the marketplace, people list their NFTs, right, and then sell them.
Yes. So if that's possible,
Okay.
how you have to understand how that is how that is being done, the process of doing that, what goes into being able to sell the NFT.
Good. So you
Is it
see,
that they giving mhm.
in a scenario, when I was doing my research, um, I linked the reward system to be either NFTs or it will be either. So if it's either it's being logged into an escrow market, which when it's being validated, when the sorted trash is being validated that yes, it's a 50 kilograms or 20 kilograms of sorted trash, and then the money automatically is being paid to the sorter for sorting those amount of trash away. Well, but if it's going to be an NFT, then we are going to use a mint validator. The I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying, but it's from the assignment. It's a type of smart contract tabs gave me to search for. So the validators that can be used. So the mint was going. I used the trash to be the mint to be minted. So the NFTs here will be minted, and then it can be sold. It can be sold in the market for cash. But right now I'm getting something
Yes,
different from you. That
yes.
one I have to go.
So yeah, so usually I feel like if the NFT is tied to something, like I said, I give an example of the land, right? Now the NFT
Okay.
of a land, right? It's possible for me to give that NFT away, but it means I'm giving the land away. It doesn't mean I'm actually giving, I'm exchanging the NFT for cash. No, it's the land itself we are selling or
Okay.
exchanging.
No. Okay. Okay. So let's come to your system here. If the tricycle is going to be used an NFT here, how will the people make profits from it or some money from the NFT here?
If what is going to be an NFT, the tricycle.
Yes.
Yeah, so like I said, it's like I'm renting your car to somebody. They pay you money for renting the car. So we've rented. It's not like we own. So instead of buying or owning the property, that's the tricycle. Someone has bought it, and we are using it to work. So in terms of profits, they get something from how much value the tricycle has or is bringing into the business, and they get some like percentage on it. So it's all about calculation. You just have to calculate and what goes
So
to.
who? So so you pay for them using the tricycle to work.
You pay them for giving you, providing you the tricycle.
The tricycle is to the collector. Remember, not directly to bring to cash.
Yes, it depends. It depends. So if Bank to Cash wants to provide that opportunity to households to invest, so yeah, we're talking about investment here. It's all about economically bringing up the people in our communities, right? So we all have money sometimes lying down, and the money doesn't bring any value. It's just probably depreciating in value because maybe if it's in CDs and the dollar is rising, and what if that money could buy dollar today? It would be you would need more of the money to buy the same dollar you bought some time ago. So because of that, if money is lying down doing nothing, it's depreciating in value. So here's the case: this householder has money, and this is an opportunity. So I'm just saying, well, it can be part of the process. The collectors can have their own tricycle. We can have collectors who don't have tricycle and want it, where Bin to Cash can provide. But Bin to Cash is not providing directly. Maybe Bin to Cash has some money to buy some tricycles, but not having up to the capacity that we need. Maybe we need 1,000 tricycles and we're able to buy 500. Now the 500 that is left, to get the money to get the tricycle, we can throw that to householders to invest in it. An amount of maybe one tricycle costs 2,000
I'm
cedis.
sorry. Sorry for cutting you here. But in terms of what you are saying, you are linking the tricycle to being to cash to operate it like directly, right? Not it's not the terms is going to be being to cash to the collector,
Can
who
you
will
hear me?
be between. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. I'm saying in the sense you are using here, you are linking the tricycle to being to cash. So we are going to be between the household and the collector, right?
Yes, that's how, in that sense, it will happen here.
Oh, okay. So that means the collectors will be paying being to cash for the tricycle using, and then we pay the household.
Mm-hmm.
I am not getting where you're coming from. Tabs, do you get what he's saying? What she's saying?
Did you say you now get it, or you don't get it?
I get it. You see, she linked being to cash with the owners of the tricycle and the collectors.
Yeah. Is
So
it
that's
like the diagram?
yeah, in a yeah, like a diagram. In a diagram form, being to cash, uh, this brings in a whole new people, not the household that is
Yeah.
sorting the trash, but the household that is providing the tricycle.
Oh, okay.
So
They might not be
it
the
so
same household.
not the same household, like a business entity that decide to
That's
buy a
awesome.
tricycle, and then being to cash becomes the middle. So we take in the money and pay the collectors, and pay the household for bringing in their tricycle.
Yeah.
But this brings us into the physical part of the business again.
So,
It's less physical than
well, it
the.
wouldn't
Yeah.
really be physical if you are using smart contracts.
Okay,
So
Yeah, it was.
it's not even really companies, right? I'm saying that we want to empower the normal person who is in the house, right? Not a business who is already making money. These are normal people in the communities who need to be economically empowered, right? And we are collecting trash from them. And maybe they have money lying down somewhere and the money is not bringing any value. Or it's in the bank and they're not getting any returns on that money. So it's a form of an investment opportunity we throw at them, even though we are collecting their trash and they know how being to cash is what we are doing. And they appreciate what value we are bringing to the communities in terms of waste management, right? And they were like, wow, I want to be part of this and to support financially so that at the end of the day, they still get return on investment. That is when they support with money that could buy tricycles, right? And then they get money from it. And these can be paid directly to their account through smart contracts. You don't need to have any physical layer of it. Well, there'll be the physical layer, but it wouldn't really be that much. It's just to um because the tricycle, for instance, right? It doesn't mean that after the tricycle has been worked with, the householder gets it back. No, they don't. So they don't donate tricycle, they donate cash. So when they want their tricycle back, it's supposed to be exchanged into cash for them. We're not going to give the householder, let's say the collector using the tricycle has used it for a number of years and probably the depreciation and things that will reduce the value of the assets, right? Then at the end of the day, we give back tricycles to householders. No, they'll get a cash. So if they've gotten return on their investment, and even to the point where the value of the tricycle has been paid fully, those tricycles either um, stay with being to cash or the collectors can buy it and use it. It can be that way. So now they
so
don't have to
now
pay money to anybody.
when you say they will get cash back, let's say the tricycle has been depreciated for a number of years, and then you want to give them you want to give them you want to give them cash, and then you want to give them cash instead of the tricycle. Are you going to give them the depreciated cash, or you
Yeah,
give them the amount they used to buy?
no, they depreciated cash because in terms of disposing of assets, there's something called disposal of assets, right? So is what the asset is valued at that time. Is that amount the asset will be sold for? And then whatever that comes will be given to the householder, not even everything, like some of it. So at the end of the day, when you calculate all the returns they've gotten, it should be more than the price of the tricycle plus extra money. That's how investment works. Like I invest
I'm new.
thousand
I'm
cities.
new.
I'm supposed to
I'm
thousand
new.
cities.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm supposed to have my thousand cities plus profits, like sorry, returns. There's not profits plus returns. So if I've invested thousand cities and I'm getting 10 cities on the thousand cities, right? Every month. That means in a year, how much am I getting plus the thousand cities? So that means you realize that instead of your money being thousand cities at the bank and even reducing, because if it's in the bank, there's a lot of like petty charges they charge you. You don't go and meet your thousand cities thousand cities anymore. It would reduce without you getting anything, but your money rather reduces. Here's the case: you get your money plus other cash, so it's more like, yeah. So when we dispose of the assets, they may have gotten their money they used to buy the assets plus returns before they'll get extra cash from disposal. So, well, it's all maths. We have to work it out, and then because you have to do calculate for depreciation and all that.
let's let's not worry too much about the um, tricycle return for now, if that's all right. Let's just try and focus on one agreement, one contract, and see how far we can get in the coding with Icon. What do you think?
Yeah.
Would that be all right? But I
Mhm.
think it's a really great discussion, and I was mapping along the system whilst you were talking, and I added it like this. Are there any changes you'd like to make, and does it reflect an accurate understanding? Does it reflect your understanding? Sila, what do you think?
I'm trying to zoom in. I can't really see.
Oh, where do you want me to move?
I think where exactly other the process concerning the tricycle.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you zoom the green one a bit? As a recycle innovation investment, okay. Households. Okay. Household becomes an investment. And then goes to collection. Um, okay. Yeah. So I think yeah, it's fine. So then from the contracts, right, where there's tricycle NFT goes the payment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but then okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. Because
Yeah.
the investment also goes to the NFT, the contract. It goes to the contract for the contract to know that okay, this householder has actually made an investment and then they deserve a payment. So yeah,
Right.
I get the connection.
Right. Okay. Cool. Sweet. And yeah, I was hearing an interesting point in your discussion, which was the difference between an NFT, like using an NFT, which is a digital asset, versus other kinds of records, where maybe rather than using a whole NFT, which is kind of like, yeah, I think lower volume, perhaps, we could just record a transaction, write a transaction. Um, so we have 10 minutes left. How do you think what's the most valuable question that you can take for the next 2 days to guide your research? Let's try and work on that, and then we can close after that point. So what I'm meaning is, like, you, before we meet on Thursday, you could ask yourself, like, do we need to spend more time to identify where exactly we want to introduce some smart contract logic? Or you could ask yourselves, what would be the logic that is needed in this point? Or you could ask yourself,